Um, so my name is Chandra Gore. I am the host and writer for Conversations with Channel Medium.com. And
Mhm.
I'm glad that you're joining me today, Dr. Danoff-Burg. I want to make sure I say it right.
That's right.
So I want to first ask you to just tell me a little bit about yourself because I have your bio, but I want to hear how you describe yourself.
Sure. So I like to say, especially in the context of what we're talking about here, I like to say that I am a recovering biologist because all of my background is as an entomologist, as you can kind of see behind me here. I work with
Yay!
insects. All my master's, my PhD, the first 10 years of my professional life were really focused on entomology, on using insects to understand better the impacts of human activities on ecosystems, you know.
Mhm.
And I love insects. I don't know if it's an unhealthy love, but I really love insects a lot. I care about them dramatically, as with all other animals and other plants too, that they deserve a place in the world, you know.
Mhm.
And I think it's our responsibility as stewards, as custodians of the planet, to make certain that there's space for everything on the planet. And so I, for a long time, was focused on studying the animals for their own value, right? Like, what are the impacts of people on them? Oh, well, they're this, and when we make a road, this happens, or if we, introduce a non-native species, all of these things happen to the species. But I realized that all that great research, and I hope it was great research, was not making a difference for the animals, you know?
Right.
And so in like starting in 2007, I started working in the Dominican Republic, leading a program to try to improve the environment, especially the fisheries off the coast of the Dominican Republic, and came to realize really quickly, really conservation is about people, you know.
Yes.
It's less about the insects or the fish or the cheetah or the argali sheep or what have you, you know. Conservation really is about people and our actions, right? What we do affects the planet, you know. And I don't know why this was such a big revelation for me at the time, but it was. As I think it really kind of is for most of us who go into conservation, you know. We
Mhm.
go into it because we love these animals and these plants, these
Right.
places, but we realize that just studying them is kind of just documenting their decline in a lot of ways, you know? That if we want to benefit them, we have to work with people. We have
Right.
to work with helping people live more sustainably with the rest of the natural world because we're a part of that natural world. We have to be able to improve coexistence so that people are not just okay with having wildlife living nearby, but are like excited about it, you know, that they see benefits by it and they get real benefits by it.
And I don't think people understand because here in Virginia, so you know how important it is for butterflies and how we need to make sure they have, how impactful it is. And I know that it's niche down to the butterflies, but
Yeah.
with the honey production, how it will affect your allergies by partaking, eating the honey that's produced in your local area,
Yeah.
understanding that can help your allergies. And I really love the fact that you said it starts with its people. We have to have the flowers and things of that nature. So, and
Yeah.
I love the fact, like, I think, I'm helping people to understand the people side of it because I love arachnids. That's my thing. I
Really?
love spiders, yes. So, and I think they are very important to the ecosystem. Like that was my biggest thing. I tell people all the time, don't kill spiders. Spiders really do help,
So help.
but some people, they like they're afraid of spiders. I'm not. But how but even butterflies, like that's the one thing I think people don't recognize is we're the biggest part of it. We can make a huge difference with
Huge.
conserving, these animals that we don't really think of, like how we impact them so much.
It's the truth. You know,
Yeah.
you're exactly spot on, Chandra. Also, let me just move my head for a second to benefit
Yes.
you. I don't know if
Oh,
you can see.
I
That's a
see.
tarantula. two scorpions next to it.
Oh, I love that. So, because I had a whole aquarium. I think because it's like one of those things that is hard because I have cats now. So it's like you can't really have spiders because cats, yes.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. That's really true. You did a really nice job of sort of summarizing what it is that I feel or our approach,
Yeah.
because really what I say is that species aren't declining because like they forgot how to breed or find food or make homes or just do the basics of living, right?
Right.
Species are declining because of our actions,
Correct.
right?
That is
Or
very
the
true.
actions of our friends, like our cats, for example.
Yes.
Uh, you know, but but for me, for some people that could be a real, I don't know, negative or downer or something, that we're the problem. But really for me, that means that we can easily be the solution.
Yep.
We just need to make the decisions to make the behavior change to allow coexistence, to allow, thriving ecosystems and thriving human communities and thriving human economies.
I agree. That's it. I mean, so I see that you all created the Center for Species Survival Behavior Change. So I know you all had an amazing press conference in DC. I'm
We did.
sorry that I missed it,
Oh, I'm sorry you
but
missed it too. It would have been
yeah,
lovely to be with
it's
you in
one of
person.
those things. So why, like, how and why did that come about? Like, I know you told me a little bit about the passion, but how did that come about? Because that name, it's very, very clear.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The Center for Behavior Change really came about because of a shared desire to partner between two uh, great organizations,
Mhm.
right? So we've been doing things to promote behavior change and community engagement here at the Living Desert. Well, I've been doing it for 17 years. But since I've been here at the zoo, we've really ramped it up a lot. So we've been doing lots of week-long workshops where
Mhm.
we teach biologists how to do social science research, right?
Oh,
Which sounds like it's kind of arcane, but really, out of the normal kind of things. But really, social science research is just being able to have the tools to learn from people
mhm.
live around your conservation projects in a defensible and unbiased and healthy way that provides the best information, right? So social science really is what you need as an organization or as a group of people to make behavior change happens. So,
Correct.
happen, excuse me. So you have to be able to know how to talk to people and listen and learn from people in communities to be able to better understand how we can make behavior change happen.
And so that's the biggest thing. So, I think, and this is where the good part is that you're learning from the people so
Yes,
that you can teach the people. And that
precisely.
makes the impact. And so I really like that approach because a lot of people don't take the time to learn who's around and how they can make little subtle changes
Yeah.
that could actually help, to make things better. So this is what I mean, goodness, there's so many because I like want to know what have been some of the successes that you found in what the biologists who've taken these trainings, what have they brought back and what were their successes?
Sure, sure. Yeah, before I answer that, Chandra, could I go back and address something that you very nicely brought up there too?
Yes.
Which is the importance of learning from the people who are living in an area.
Mhm.
Um, because I want to underscore the importance of that, which is that, the people who are living in a place are going to be in that place
Mhm.
longer than outside conservation organizations, outside community
Mhm.
development organizations. So the success of any effort, conservation, community development, economic growth, whatever it is, the success of any conservation project is going to be determined by the local people. And so the people need to be not just involved, but they should be like leaders in determining the direction of those projects, right? So we need to learn from and with local people, we being people who hope to do good in the world, I guess. And right, for my instance,
Right.
conservation. We need to be able to learn from them and then empower them as leaders, you know?
And I love see that's what I'm saying, like community ambassadors pretty much to
Yeah,
kind of change things. And that's see if you empower the people, and this
yeah.
is what I think a lot of people I think we're getting away from. Like it's little changes. Like when I was a kid and we had our what is it called? We had our recycle, those programs. We also had, the eco-friendly. We had Captain Planet. I'm dating myself here. So we had all
I
of
have
those.
a Captain Planet suit and wig and face paint.
That's what I'm saying. Like we were empowered as kids to, to actually touch the environment and be a part of it. So it's like I love that now it's like we are pushing, we're actually you're doing the work so that more people can understand their impact and their footprint. So this is
That's
I
true.
know it's weird. I just love stuff like this.
No, you're spot on. Well, you get it intuitively too, clearly.
Yeah.
So to go back to your question, your most recent question that you had too about like what are the demonstrated successes that may have come from biologists who have been using this.
Mhm.
Um, so we work with the world's first all-female anti-poaching unit in all of the world, but they're based in South Africa, and they're called the Black Mambas Anti-Poaching Unit.
Oh,
And they are an amazing group of African women that I feel blessed to get to support. Um, they are unarmed and they patrol the borders of the western fence of Kruger National Park in a significant stretch of the park, one of the world's greatest national parks. Um, uh, and so they are unarmed, but they go out and they patrol the land and they will confront people who are coming into the land to hunt illegally or, poach animals. And they are women and they're wearing camo and they all look amazing. There's no de-emphasis on, makeup or beautiful hair,
right.
They always look amazing when they go out into the field. I spent a lot of time waiting for that to take place when I go out in the field with them. Um, but, so we've been supporting them by evaluating the second part of their goal, which was to change the community's opinion about conservation and wildlife and protected areas, right? And so we at the Living Desert went out into the communities and we asked the communities what they thought of those things, wildlife and conservation and the protected areas, and specifically about the mambas themselves. That's how I shorten it, the Black Mambas Anti-Poaching Unit. Um, and what we found was that the education program that the Mambas were doing was what was changing the hearts and minds of the community, right? And when we started doing that education or that evaluation for them, this was 2018. And they had only one community in which they were doing the education program at like one or two schools. When they found that result of the work that we were doing, they expanded the work that they do to now they are in somewhere around 40 different schools and 5 different communities. And so because of the work, the data that we found that we had collected, they changed their entire focus. They still do the great patrols and they still do the anti-poaching work, but they've really expanded into the community-based conservation and education for kids and community engagement. And they have what they call a Bush Grannies program where they get older women to go to Kruger National Park and they teach them about wildlife and coexistence with wildlife because the Bush Grannies are often the people who are taking care of the kids.
Mhm.
So that has been a sort of transformative study project for them, right? And then this summer, and we go back there a lot, like every year, every 2 years, to work with them on different projects. But this past summer, we started training them on how to do the research themselves, which is what our research programs are, or our education programs are. And so now they are doing the research themselves, the Mambas are, and the Bush babies are. Right. So we're supporting them. We still, they're not so good with statistics. None of them are mathematicians. So we help them with the data analysis and the interpretation and how to write the stuff. So we're still the backstop for them, but
Right.
they're doing the work.
It's a good thing because if they're talking, children have a different view of the world.
Yeah.
So it just changed one thought with children. It's like a ripple effect because they get excited, they want to be a part of things,
Yeah.
and they're really the pretty much the key to making those major changes. I know people don't think that, but
Yeah.
a group of 5 year olds and they latch onto something, there's no stopping them.
There is no stopping them. That's exactly right.
So, so, so that's the good thing about it. And then, so I do want to know, like, so how do you all connect with, the local schools and different things of that, like local schools, other zoos, because in DC, we have the National Zoo, we have all of these
Great
places.
zoo. Yep.
So even I live in I live in Stafford, so it's kind of it's south, but there are a lot of different things. We have wild animals here. There's a bear walking around the neighborhood the other day. So
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, we do have wildlife. So with like the regular with school districts and things like that, do you do outreach there to try to
You do.
get the word out? Okay.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Yeah, the conservation projects we do aren't just in Africa. We also do a lot here in Southern California. So we work with schools across our Coachella Valley here,
Okay.
and also up by Barstow, all across the California deserts, really, which is about a third of the state.
It is.
Um, we go into schools, we teach kids about how to live sustainably with wildlife, same things that we're talking about here with doing research on it, trying to get them to recreate responsibly. A lot of people out here use four-wheel drive vehicles, off-road four-wheel drive vehicles, ATVs. Out here we call them OHVs, or motorcycles or what have you, and they ride all around the desert. And so we want to encourage people to go do that, but do it responsibly and stay on
Right.
trails. And to not pick up desert tortoises that they might see out in the wild and leave them alone because they need to be out there. If they want to adopt them, if they want to have a desert tortoise, talk to us. We have a lot of desert tortoises that we take from people as pets who they had them as pets legally, but they move out of the state or they can't care for them anymore. And then we rehome them. So those three messages, stay on
Mhm.
trails, recreate responsibly, don't don't bother the desert tortoise in the wild, and if you want a pet, talk to us, you know, are three of the things that we do with kids up north and across our valley. And in our valley, we work with schools across our whole region to put in native gardens and then teach kids about the value of native plants, right? So
Yeah.
all of the things that we do, whether it's here in Mexico, across Eastern or Southern Africa, or in Mongolia, or in Northwestern India,
Mhm.
is all focused on community-based conservation and people living harmoniously and working together to conserve wildlife in a way that benefits them and the wildlife and the economy.
See, that's the big see, and I'll tell you, the economy is one that people are stickler on right now, but
Yeah.
I do feel like people really understood how, because I can only talk about what I know here. I mean, I'm
Yes. Yeah.
from South Carolina, but I'm very much so involved in my community here in Stafford is explaining, because we do have people who are beekeepers who
Yeah.
are really, telling people, listen, we have to have these because if not, those wildflowers, we need those. Because if the ecosystem doesn't work right if we don't have the pollination of for the corn, for all of the other things that are grown here.
Yeah.
And it's like people are like, oh, that just it's a trickle effect, everybody. Like your
Yeah.
corn is not gonna grow, the soybeans, all of these things that we look for and we need, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be there if we get rid of the butterflies. And then it's like, oh, that's not a big deal. But yes, it is a huge deal. And also
Huge.
with the bees, and it's like, you all have to understand they made the bees and butterflies, they are they make or break.
They do. They really
Especially
do.
here in Virginia, it makes or break on how farmers are going to be able to sustain themselves, even down to their animals, and I'm just,
It's true.
because we do have ponds and things that have invasive species in them, which
Yeah.
kills the fish, it's like it's these little itty bitty
Yeah.
changes
That's
that
right.
make a whole difference. But this is where I'm so glad that you all exist,
Well, thank you.
because
Yeah.
it's more palatable to be able to show you, like, listen, this actually does happen. And being that you do the work where you're teaching people how to do the research, how to gather the
Mhm.
data, so that
Right.
there's concrete proof.
That's
And I
exactly.
mean, so within the next 12 to 24 months, what are you all looking to do? Like, what do you all want to change in the next,
Fair.
2 years? Yeah.
Well, it's an amazing world filled with amazing people. And
Yeah.
so, our long-term goal is to build skills among those amazing people wherever they're located around the earth. We mostly focus on desert conservation, our work, but we are most interested in working with anybody who wants to conserve the environment, in a way that benefits all of us. So, for the next 12 months rather, we have the great benefit of having this partnership with the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and in
Mhm.
particular, the part of it, one of their specialty groups, it's called the Behavioral Change Task Force. And the Behavior Change Task Force is so helpful for us because they are some of the world's leading researchers and scientists, social scientists in behavior change. So we're going to work with them with our center and what we have done in the past with those classes, those trainings, the research that we do as an outgrowth of the trainings and provides the trainings. Um, to work with them to come up with some very solid and well-reasoned goals for us to pursue for the next year, and then to implement that. So every year we usually do at least how many people we usually have? We usually train around 100, 120 people a year in the basics of social science research. So we'll be doing several classes in many countries. The one that we have definitely shored up or planned for the spring, probably in April, will be in Zimbabwe. With a program that is reintroducing white rhinos into Hwange National Park.
Oh, that's
Uh,
so awesome.
and they're doing it on the communal lands of the local tribal communities, the Chilocho communal people. And they're doing it in a way that benefits the people, benefits the rhinos because they're coming back into an ecosystem, and also benefits the economy because that drives tourism in that area as well. And that
Definitely.
money then goes to the community as well. So we're really excited to go back to that area, do some more research, do some more interventions because
Mhm.
we work closely with the Chilocho Rural District Council, RDC, and we are blessed to have great partners there. So that'll be first. And we're going to do another, I don't know, three or four, five, six, I don't know, classes around the world after that as well.
See, that is amazing because everyone knows that the white rhino is an endangered species.
Yeah,
So it's like, I dislike when I hear like certain species, and they don't have to be endangered. They
they
don't
don't.
have to go through that. And I love the fact you're going to the community to bring that back to
Yeah,
actually help that. So I love that.
yeah.
So how can um, everyone find out more about the organization, or how
Hmm.
can they get involved?
How can they get involved? Wow. Well, they can come to our website at livingdesert.org.
Mhm.
And if you click on the conservation tab, there's a whole bunch of information there about our center, about our training programs, about the research that we've been doing in support of different conservation organizations. Lots of that is threaded throughout all of those stories on there. Um, if they really want to get involved, we're having a launch to all of the community-based conservation organizations in the world that will be at the International Union for Conservation of Nature World Conservation Congress. IUCN is nothing but full of acronyms. So so many letters. Anyway, in Abu Dhabi in the UAE in a week and a half, the World Conservation Congress starts. And I'll be there and we'll be talking about this great program that we're starting, this new center that we're doing with them, and talking to a bunch of different organizations. So we'll probably know better actually what our work goals, I was going to say load, really goals, are going to be in the new year once we meet with all these new partners that are going to come about because of this new center being created with IUCN.
Excited because it's like a restart. Like for me, it's like a resurgence. Like I used to be that person, that kid who
Yeah.
was like, no, you will not kill this thing. It was
Yeah.
very, very big for me to go out in nature to make sure. So I'm excited because it's like, even though we have all this technology, you have to look at it, we need to go back to touching dirt.
Isn't that true? Let's get
Yes.
back out into the dirt. That
Yes,
makes life
that
better.
so that's a good thing. I want to thank you so much for chatting with me today. And it's like now I'm like gonna go and look at some more spiders. Um, and like go out on the porch and see what I have. Yes, because like I know I had a orb spider. She made a beautiful, beautiful web. So
Ah,
and people like, oh, sweep it down. Can you just let her live?
yeah. Oh my God. Those big orb web speeders are amazing. Was
They're
it one of those,
very
what are they called? Argillopsis?
yes.
That has the huge, like, white body and like yellow legs and stuff. Oh, they're
Black
so
Mambas.
beautiful.
Yes, so I have a, I still got bitten by a green lynch spider and it was a big goose egg, but it was okay. You
Okay.
know, I loved it. So it's like because it was like okay, it happened. I shouldn't have, picked the. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
that's
yes, I
right.
can't get mad. I just because they're pretty spiders and people don't understand. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things. Like now I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go outside a little bit now. But I want to thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see the outcome of the goals and the more work you do, and to see people change the way that they